A little correction. Independence Pass is 12,095 feet. Gwinnett Pass is 11,600 something. So that is the correction. I believe in being accurate as much as I can. We're about to head down the mountain. And here we are. We have summited down to Aspen. Snow flurries, because why not? Lots of bugs. Taking pictures, but I can talk, I can shift, I can drive. I cannot do all that or not talk and aim my camera while I'm driving. It would be suicide on this road, and that's the other thing you always must kind of keep in mind when you're driving is safety. Yes, I use my camera while I'm driving. I admit that's probably for many people a white knuckle type thing. Probably odds go against me in that regard. So yeah, I probably should do it. On training rides and on various other rides, I used to take pictures on my road bike. Video. So yeah, I've got some skill with it, and it's pretty much a one touch point and click. So I'm just kind of spraying and praying at this point. When we came down from way up where that kind of little cut is and all that gravel, we just came down all that. Now we're going down to Aspen, a town I have been to, I don't know, not much. Once. Basically, this entire experience is only the second time in my life for me. And again, it's as much as I like the closed top of the GT6 for so many reasons, and a lot of them go with creature comfort, protection from the elements, things like that. The downside is I feel like an open car on this drive would really make you feel the grandeur and just how small we are and how big nature is. Kind of like if you've ever don't open it until like late May, before they open it to vehicles. They allow you to ride up on like a bicycle to a certain point, and then they do finally clear the whole thing. There's a bike ride as a fundraiser for the Independence Pass Foundation, which, by the way, if we are lucky, we will get a interview from the director of the Independence Foundation, Karen, I believe her last name is T. Wonderful individual, met her last year, so they do a lot of stuff to protect this pass and keep it pristine, pick up debris. They help with some of the clearing of the road a little bit, and they've got all kinds of outreach programs. They maintain trails on the pass, so watch for that. I'm going to make that into a separate video just because this whole driving thing is going to have to be broken up in 2 parts. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Some surprises coming up on this road. You're kind of like, okay, you've never been on it, you're coming from the Twin Links side, you're like, okay, the road wasn't bad. A couple spots were a little, instant drop-offs. And note you can't see it, but in this valley on the left of the road, there is a creek, maybe a river, I don't know what they call it out here, and it is running in the same direction we are traveling, because we are now on the west side of the Continental Divide. So with that, all this water is going to end up in the Pacific Ocean. Where I was saying beaver ponds by that hairpin, that all ends up in the Atlantic Ocean, because this is literally the spine of the continent. So thanks for coming to my TED Talk about geography. Hope you enjoyed that very brief synopsis of it. Probably have a blast on this road if it were closed to traffic, but we're going about 40 miles an hour. I'm catching up to the guys in front of me because I'm just downshifting and coasting, lifting and coasting to save my fuel for the sample. No, this is not an F1 race. But I almost think it's, and yeah, I'd have to have safety gear. Let's say you just have a car that's, great for it. But really, I think it's more fun to just kind of go around the speed limit, maybe a little over it, and kind of pin some turns a little harder than, most other people would. And I really kind of feel like that's, excuse me, I kind of feel like that's a more fun way. It's safer, for one. If you do mess up, you should be able to recover. And if you want to get your speed, do it on a track where everything is stacked as much as it can be in your favor. Do it on a do it at autocross. That's even better. It's lower speed. You can really get to learn the handling of your car at the limit, and it's about as safe as you can be. Just thrashing your car and seeing what you and the car are able to do. Alright, we're out of the clouds, maybe. So I'll turn the lights back on. car in front of you. Not huge. Not so much that people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I need to pass him. You know, A, it gives a big cushion so you don't run into a friend's car, which is really awkward. Don't ask me why, I know that. And B, you don't ever have to hit your brakes. You just kind of slowly ease into it, ramp up the speed. Oh, that's the Braille Trail. So that's a trail back there for people that are blind, and it has interpretive signs in Braille. And the Independence Pass Foundation was instrumental in getting that created. Basically same thing, a few little differences. In a lot of ways, that is the ideal car for a day like today. Going through Aspen, we're not going to worry about, you know, the clutch, stop and go traffic in that car. And the BMW as well, if it has an automatic. If it has a manual, well, it has a manual. But both of them are comfortable, plenty quick for what they need. I mean, actually quite fast if you know how to drive a slow power, not slow, a low powered car. And they're just really good at it's just hacked out of it halfway up the cliff. If you hit the stone wall and go over, you probably can right a will before you hit the Hudson River. If you remember the movie Doctor Strange, the road that he was going really fast on and flipped his car and everything into the water or whatever, that was actually Old Storm Canyon. But anyway, the connection here is that this road back there really reminds me of it. And I wonder, I'm curious what my dad's take on it is. I might have to send him a little, link to start from here, so to speak, on the video. Space than I do. I've done 156 miles and I'm still over half a tank of gas left.
over. He was driving, I was navigating. I jumped out, and we had divided the cooler into two compartments. One with lots of dry ice, and that's where we put the bag that had just been used in, so it would refreeze. The other with some dry ice and regular ice. And we had, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these bags. And that's how we kept the fuel pump cool on a really hot, humid, 95-degree Indiana day in the summer. So that was one version of vapor lock, because the fuel got so hot going into the pump, and the pump was hot, it was giving us trouble. And that was our solution. We knew it was going to happen. He had devised this plan. I don't know if he had read it somewhere years ago. He had brought the car over from Germany when he was in the Air Force. I don't know how he got it over here, because it definitely wasn't legal back when it was brought over, only a year or two old. That was the anti-tank trap. Oof. Trying to be good for the McLaren behind me so he doesn't break something, which is a very real possibility on holes like that. The other vapor lock is at altitude. I've had it on Glenwood Pass, I've had it here, just had it earlier. It's part of why it takes longer to start up. It's like, and what you end up with is the fuel just gets too hot, and it becomes a vapor instead of becoming a liquid. And if you get the car started and suck those vapors through, it runs rough in the beginning, and usually your temperature gauge is pretty high, close to 3/4 or more. And so what you need to do is get it running, get it idling, and then idle it at like 2,000 RPM or so. Let the coolant cool the engine off. Let cool liquid gas get into the car or into the engine and fuel system, and then you should be able to drive away. A lot of people make the mistake of, oh, it's running, start driving away, and then it might stall, and then you're stuck. It takes a while to get it going. It's been my experience. If anyone wants to add more in the comments, by all means, please do. Well, folks, that has been Independence Pass. Oh, nice. Nice E-Type going the other way. The BMW, I forgot what series it is. A 3 Series from the 80s. Good looking car. I'm going to keep this rolling through Aspen, just because it's a neat town. Oh, wow. Hello, big deer. If you look it up on the internet, it's always true. No, it actually is true. Aspen had a thriving sports car and road racing scene after World War II in through the 50s. I don't remember when they stopped, but they actually had street races, basically criteriums for cars in Aspen itself. And one of the big famous hotels that's still around, it's a brick one. There's pictures of people on the balconies and on the roof, almost like Monaco, watching the cars go by. So there's some cool shots, and Aspen Historical Society, give a shout out to them on Facebook, has a number of pictures of these events. So if you're bored one day, go check it out, and see what you can find. I mean, it's kind of wild when you think about it. Watkins Glen, the village, had racing for a while until those kids got killed when the car went into the crowd on Main Street, and I've been to that exact electric buses.